What is up, guys? Oregon's depth chart's been released, and this is my time. This is the time where I officially feel like the season is starting. 5 days away now. The depth chart's here, so you can officially overlook your team. You can just weigh things out. And this Oregon team, I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. Now, I find that hard. I say that, and I think a lot of people are like, "What? Everybody's talking about you guys." You watch college football preview? None of them. And I mean, none of them picked Oregon to even win their division. Now, Lee didn't pick Stanford or us to win the North, but Kirk and Desmond picked Stanford to win the North. And I'll be sure and remind you guys of that when we're sitting there come December and we've beaten UCLA on the road, and we've taken care of the Stanford team, and we're winning the Pac-12, and then we're going to go to the Pac-12 championship and beat UCLA again, or maybe even beat Arizona State. I don't care who it is. We're going to beat them and go to the Final Four. Oh, and that Big Ten matchup that everybody's talking about, how it's kind of like a Stanford game precursor. We're going to beat them too, and we're going to win our games. This team can go undefeated. This team is crazy with skill position players. Charles Nelson, Dwayne Stanford, who a lot of people forget about him. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is mentioning this kid. This kid was a freak coming out of high school last year. Or the year before, excuse me, when he got hurt. He made some plays before he got hurt. He was just as good as Braylon Addison. Now, my prediction is he's going to have the year Braylon had last year. He's going to be our leading receiver. He's just a freak, and he's tall, and he's athletic, and he's fast. And I don't think there's a cornerback in the Pac-12, maybe besides Efo, who's on our team, so he doesn't count, that can keep up with the kid. There's not one cornerback in the league or in the conference that will shut him down. Just watch. I was right about Thomas Tyner starting. JC, you can just admit that now. I mean, granted, they gave Byron the decency to list him as an or option on the depth chart. It's Thomas Tyner or Byron Marshall or Royce Freeman, but Tyner's the first guy. So get that out of the way. Oh, and Marcus Mariota is our starting quarterback, just in case you guys didn't know. Looking at the offensive line, you got Manley Stevens, Horonis Grasu, Cameron Hunt or Jake Pisarcik, Andre Y. Don't ask me to pronounce that name. The tight end is 3D, Farrell Brown, Johnny Munt, Evan Bayless. I believe Farrell Brown will probably be the game day starter just because he gives us the best vertical depth there to go and catch a ball deep. Vertical threat, Chance Allen at wide receiver, Keenan Lowe, the lunch pail guy I mentioned earlier, Charles Nelson, a guy that a freshman beat out PJ Kelly for this spot, in my opinion, and that says more about Chance, or excuse me, more about Charles than it does about BJ. I just think Charles is a freak athlete. He's going to make plays, and he's probably going to see time at the slot receiver, maybe out wide as well, going deep, and then you're going to probably see him at running back as well in scrub time when we just want to try out new things. It's going to be crazy defending this team. Is again Scott Frost's biggest hindrance, in my opinion, is finding enough balls to go around to make Keenan Lowe happy, to make Dwayne Stanford happy, to make Byron and Thomas Tyner happy. Is who do I give the ball to on this down? Oh, it's 2nd and 5. I could go anywhere on the field. I could go to my running back. I could go to my slot receiver. I could take a shot deep, because going Oregon, we probably have 2 downs to complete this. Um, it's gonna be nuts, and everybody wants to talk about the injury to Johnstone. Everybody wants to talk about the injury to Braylon. Yes, would I like to have those guys here? Absolutely, I would. But am I gonna lose sleep over their injuries after I look at this? Not really. This team is so well built to sustain injuries like that, or to come off injuries like that and still be good, that it's probably one of the deepest teams out there. I mean, you think about, like, oh, all your players are so young, sophomores, redshirt freshmen. Yeah, the redshirt freshmen haven't played, but they will play. They're going to get tons of minutes in this South Dakota game, the Wyoming game, the Wazoo game, the Cal game, the Colorado game. You're going to get minutes up and down for those young guys going into next season. And the sophomores, they've played a lot of minutes. That they in that's even those are just the games we know we're gonna blow them out. Like look at games like Arizona, who's starting with a new quarterback, a new running back. I think that game could get ugly at home. That game's at home. I think that game could get ugly. Um, Going to the defense side of the ball, defensive line, forget about it. This is a position nobody on in the media is talking about. Everyone wants to talk about our skill position players and how we lost Braylon and how we lost an offensive lineman. Nobody's talking about how we returned, some of the deepest D line last year. Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, Alex Balducci all got bigger, all got faster, all got stronger, and we're playing extremely fast right now. The reports from practice is that we're all over the backfield, is we are disrupting plays left and right, and that's how the defense is going to be in the regular season. Is your O-line better be damn good. I mean, damn good, and it better be on its A game to defend all these guys. Is we're going to be coming at you like a Mack truck, and that's just not including our linebackers. Tony Washington, Rodney Hardrick, Joe Walker. Just the versatility of this defense is scary. And I think we're just going to be hitting people. We're just going to be knocking the socks off when you get anywhere near us. Is just look out, look out, people. It's going to get nasty. Now, granted, we might give up bigger plays here and there, but we're going to disrupt plays. We're going to get to the quarterback. We're going to hit the running back in the backfield. We're going to force fumbles. We're going to cause some incompletions due to our pressure. It's no longer a bend, don't break. It's a go and make your own type of play. And if you get burned, well, you get burned. But you're going to also show them that you're not scared of coming after them. Secondary, you got Ifo Ekpreolumu, lockdown corner. Forget about throwing it to that side. Safety position, got Eric Dargan. Not necessarily a senior starter, but he has been in a lot of situations. He's been in a lot of games and a lot of scenarios for us. He is battle tested. He is just as strong as, say, a 3-year starter coming into this position. I feel just as confident as him starting as I do Ifo. Is that safety position is taken care of. Now you got Tyree Robinson, a sophomore coming in this year. Him, I think he's on a mission to make himself the quote-unquote quarterback of the defense next year when Ifo leaves. That's Ifo's job right now, is to be the leader of that defense. Tyree, I feel, is going to be that kind of guy next year when he's a junior. He is going to be the it man on that back end of that secondary. And that's the guy everybody's going to be looking to. Now, Troy Hill, the other corner opposite of Ifo, he's had his ups and downs in years past, but I have faith in my coaches that if he's the guy that gives us the best chance to win, then he's the guy that gives us the best chance to win. So I'm going to put all my full faith into Troy, and until he proves it otherwise, I'm not going to back off from it, and that's the point. Anybody want to talk smack about my team? Come on. Like, this team is loaded. This team, like I said in other videos, if we're playing our game, we're healthy, we're going to beat you. Now, granted, your team might be good enough to throw us off our game, but if our team can stay healthy and just stay focused the entire season, I don't see a team out there that can flat out just are better than us, that just far and away can outplay us. Now, we might get beat, but they will not dominate us. There's not a team in the country that will dominate us, and that nobody can say, oh, there's no way Oregon could beat an Oklahoma. There's absolutely no way an Oregon could contend with an Auburn. Or there's no way that Oregon could contend with an FSU. Because that's not the case. Oregon can contend with anybody in the nation. And that's a matter of a fact. Anybody who wants to say it can make a video and respond to me and tell me why I'm crazy. Because I don't see this team losing to anybody in the Pac-12. And I don't see us losing to Michigan State. Now, granted, that UCLA game on the road is going to be tough, yes. But they have a lot to prove themselves. And to sit there and say it's just a foregone conclusion that we're going to lose to UCLA, and it's a foregone conclusion we're going to lose to Stanford, is nuts. Because everybody's falling in love with Stanford. Oh, Stanford. Oh, what they did there is just so great. Kirk Herbstreit, forget about it. You're crazy to think that you're going to lose your D coordinator, you're going to lose the heart and soul, Shane Scove, of your defense and not miss a beat. You're nuts. What we're returning and what we're bringing back is just, we're going to beat Stanford this year. And I hope you're there for that game, Herbie. Kirk, Desmond, I really hope you're at Autzen Stadium come November 1st. So when we beat you, we can all remind you of what you said of a college football preview. I won't let them forget it, and I'll make sure 60,000 fans know that you predicted us to lose. So, hope that fired you up for the season. Hope that got you ready more than you really needed it. But as always, guys, go Ducks.